We're making this film because this is about being a professional trained driver. This matters so much to our customers that they know they have got a responsible and professional person on the front of the train. Your cab is your office. Everything you do from the start of your job to the end of the shift is so important that you do it in a professional way.
Of course, all of us working as train operators on the Underground are professionals. We've all been trained to do the job, and we're regularly assessed on our competence, our route knowledge, our driving techniques and our communication skills.
Watford train, mind the doors please, stand clear.
But there's a lot more to doing a professional job like ours than just knowing the rule book. For example, on the Met, with so much of the line passing through open countryside, you would think it isn't so stressful as some of the tube lines.
To do it professionally, you need a good attitude to this environment.
Professional driving is about our whole approach to our work. It's more than just turning up, driving the train and going home.
The way I do my job, I don't bring whatever problems I have at home down to work with me. I'm a kind of different person when I'm at work and a total, complete different person when I'm at home. When I get to work, from the time I book on to the time I finish, I'm in a professional mood because I know I have thousands of people on the train. I'm responsible for thousands of people on the train, so I try to be professional to the best of my ability.
And that's what our passengers can reasonably expect from us. We all know how a lot of people depend on us for their safety, and it's not unreasonable that they should expect us to be 100% when we're in the cab. And that means being focused and committed all the time we're there. Yes, this is a job we should all be proud of, but there's more to being a professional train operator than having good driving skills and knowing the road. And that's what this programme is all about. We all have to work shifts, and we all have to learn how to cope with them.
You've got to think about your rest, because if you don't rest, it will at some point have an impact in your job. You're either going to spad, or worse still, there could be an accident involving a human being.
A lot of our customers see us as the face of London Underground, so the way we show ourselves is pretty important too. We're not just drivers. This DVD isn't laying down hard and fast rules on how we should run our lives. It's about how we should have a professional attitude to being a train operator, away from work as well as on the job.
Got some breakfast for you. They are.
Shift work can be disrupting. Eating, sleeping, family life all need to be balanced against being prepared for the next day's work.
Yeah. Driving trains.
Underground early, doesn't he?
Doing a professional job, you do need your rest, so you're fit enough to do your duty in the morning when you're doing your early turns. And also you need your rest if you're doing late turns as well. It is a very professional job and treated in that way. If I'm doing early turns, I will have a couple of hours in bed in the afternoon, And of course I have fairly early evenings. Usually have a little read, you know, just to unwind and calm down and relax a bit. And then hopefully that's all right for the early turns, because sometimes I'm up at about 3 o'clock in the morning, and to get a good rest is what you need.
Working on social hours can be difficult. Shift work sometimes means having to cope with sleeping during the day, when most people are awake and making a noise. Your social life can suffer too. You won't always be able to fit in with your friends and family's plans.
It's difficult sometimes with family life, trying to get family life around your job and that, trying to get the family to understand. Sometimes they don't, you know, sometimes they want to go out and I want to sleep.
He's kicking foot.
But on the whole, you know, I've been doing the job for a few years now, and the family do understand what shift work's all about, and they do make reservations for me. Getting up in the morning can be a bit of a pain, you know, try not to wake anybody up, tiptoeing around and that. But you get into a routine, you learn to be quiet, tiptoe downstairs, have a bit of breakfast, because you need a bit of breakfast, something inside you to just start the day off nicely.
Being fit for duty means just that, having enough rest to do the job and eating and drinking properly, so that you don't make mistakes because you're drowsy or your blood sugar's too low. And if you ever feel that you're not fit at any point in the shift, tell your manager. Mind you, that's not an excuse to go sick with just a bit of a sniffle.
So the key is basically act professionally, give yourself a lot of time so you're not pushed, you're not in a rush. Plenty of time to do the job.
We all know what it's like being in a rush and the knock-on effect that can have, so the professional way is to allow enough time to get to work and be properly prepared. If you're late, tell your manager, and don't take shortcuts.
Oh, that's all right. Good morning, Steve.
When I turn up for work to book on, I know I've got plenty of time because I've allowed for plenty of time.
How was the journey in this morning?
Yeah, it's all right. But then again, this time of morning, there's not much on the road anyway. Make pleasantries with the DMT.
Pretty good journey.
Say hello, good morning.
Right, train 241.
Find out your train number, sign on, and then look at the board.
Any special work today? No,
Got 7 minutes to look at the board.
No.
Have a look, see if there's any special work on, any engineering works on. Look at the SPAD board, see what signals. You've got to keep an eye out. Some signals get SPADed more often than others. Keep an eye out. Meet a few of your friends booking on at the same time and that, say good morning to them. They're usually a nice bunch of guys, so you can get on quite well with them. As a professional driver, you have to check your kit bag out, check your hand lamp, check the battery's okay, you get the right colours, the red, the white, the greens. Check your Connect phone, make sure that's got battery power, can switch it on okay. Check if you've got a traffic circular, just in case you want to check any works that's been going on overnight and that. Hi-vi, and maybe a bottle of water to keep you refreshed before you pick your train up. I always think that going to the loo before you pick up, give yourself plenty of time, because you don't want to be caught short on the train.
And if something has happened that you think will affect your fitness for duty, tell the manager. Of course, that means telling them if you've taken anything that might affect your work. We all know that taking prohibited drugs is a serious offence, and there are regular, unannounced checks for this.
Have you had counselling before, Peter?
If there's anything that you feel you need to speak to someone about, counselling is available.
When I get to the depot, following of course the walkways,
Okay, all right.
say good morning to the shunter and find out my road number for where my train is.
11 road, okay. Thanks a lot, okay.
Of course, when I am in the depot, you can't take any shortcuts. You cannot leave things to the last minute. You've got to take your time, be professional about it. The depot is a very dangerous place, as we all know, with moving trains. As I'm walking towards the train, I'm checking targets and that the cocks are up. And then getting on the train, make sure my bag is off, as I don't want it to pull me back and end up like a tortoise on its back. So make sure the bag is on the train first before I get on.
This is my office. I've got my checks to do. I've got to check the headlights. Of course, it's a very safe thing because we've got P-way workers and they like to know whether the train's going backwards or forwards. So if they see white lights, they know the train's coming towards them. So I get down off the train now, have a quick look. It's the safest way of doing it because hanging out the front can end up falling onto the track. I've now opened the train up. I'll do my checks.
Most of the stock is different from line to line, but in every case we must make sure the train is fit for service. This means making the checks both outside and inside. If all's okay, the train's trouble card should be signed out.
This is my train, so after I've shut down, I've walked through to the other end to prepare the other end. As I'm walking through, I'm checking things, checking lights, checking the seats, checking the flooring, that everything is safe for the passengers I'm going to carry. Because this is a safety conscious job and it's my responsibility to make sure that everything is safe and okay.
At the other end of the train, there are the same checks to do as before. And then it's back to the leading cab to set up the Connect radio and to contact the shunter for permission to proceed.
241 and 11 Road, receiving.
And repeat the shunter's message using the correct radio etiquette.
I then look at the signal, make sure the signal's off, give a blow on the whistle to let him know that I understand he's calling me out, and then off I go. All I'm doing is an organised routine. Everything I do is very important and very safety critical for the job I'm doing.
It's a very responsible job driving a train with the hundreds of passengers that's on the train. You've got the obvious signs, of course, to look out for, which is signals, of course the station coming up. Knowing your road, knowing the knowledge of the track and the line, that helps quite a bit as well. Looking out for speed restrictions, knowing when to brake, getting the train under control. All these little things, they all add up.
Keeping vigilant on long stretches of track takes a special kind of concentration. Driving can be a repetitive, lonely job, and it's all too easy for thoughts to wander. You have to be more aware of signals at complex track sections.
Driving can be a very repetitive and monotonous job. To keep myself alert, I tend to look at the track closely, observe the signals. You've got to keep your concentration at all times, you know, especially if you're going on holiday. You're thinking about your holiday, coming back from holiday. You've got to get back into the job and that. And you've got your mixtures of earlys and lates. You know, your body's got to adapt to it. If I do sort of need any questions that have got to be answered, I go onto the controller, like delays, hold-ups, anything like that. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry about the delay, but we've just been waiting for a Circle Line train to cross.
Using the PA properly when we're at an unscheduled stop, especially in a tunnel, helps to remind the passengers that there's a human at the front of the train, and it relaxes them.
Hello, controller.
The key is getting information quickly to your passengers, within 30 seconds of an unexpected stop.
Sometimes we know what the delay is, and with that we can relay the delay over to the passengers. It's worth remembering that there's a lot of accidents that can happen on the platform with passengers making a last gasp attempt trying to get on the train.
Providing real-time information is becoming ever more central to the role of a professional train operator. This is what makes us valued by our customers.
Of course, we can help cut delays down by being responsible. Prompting people to get on the train quicker with announcements and telling people that the train is ready to move. Train's ready to leave now, stand clear of the doors. They do tend to hurry along when you give them this information. Being aware of people on the platform, thinking outside the cab, you know, just being aware, alert, and making sure that everything works out nice and safe. Of course, we also have customer service assistants on the platforms, usually in the peak hours. You have to keep an eye out for them as well. They are there to help you. This train's a Whitechapel train, calling at Aldgate East and Whitechapel only. Change here for the Circle line. This sort of information is very important for passengers because the line splits here, and so if they're on the wrong train they could end up going around the Circle line, or in the other instance they could end up going to Whitechapel. Some people don't listen to the digital voice announcer on the train. They'd rather listen to a real human voice. Making these announcements, you can also put in a few more pointers for them, which just helps them on their way when they're travelling to mainline stations like King's Cross and various other stations. Right, this is Edgware Road. I'll get relieved now. Recharge my batteries, ready for my second half. Oh, Neil, all right?
There's usually a driver waiting there for you. Usually say hello to him and change keys, and away he goes.
And not forgetting, of course, to tell him that the train is fit for duty.
I am working Saturday, actually. It's really important to take a break, have something inside you, you know, keep you going for the second part of your duty, especially when you've been up early in the morning. Some people even go for walks. I go for walks myself. You can also sit down, talk to your friends, save all your money. It's very important to have a break, to nourish yourself and prepare yourself for your next pickups. So it's not this train, it'll be a Hammersmith train. As I say, outside the cab is to be professional, to carry on where I was in the cab. Talk to passengers. If they look lost, ask them where they're going to. Excuse me, can I help you?
Oh, yes, please. I want to go to King's Cross.
Just look after them. You get the satisfaction out of helping out as well. Trying to take it out. Okay. Hello.
Through the course of your shift, there will be a number of distractions, but some are more difficult to deal with than others.
Yes, sir.
Look, what's going on here? We've been in here for 10 minutes. There's nothing, I've got to get off to the next.
Now and again we do come up with aggressive passengers, but if you give a bit of yes sir, no sir, and a smile, it can ease the situation quite a bit.
I mean, there's a whole trainload of people who've been waiting.
Even so, it's only natural when something like this happens to let the red mist take over. It helps to know the abuse isn't aimed at us personally, just the uniform. Certainly don't get aggressive. You could get attacked. So don't open the door if you think this might happen. Read the situation.
It's not very professional to lose your rag and to argue with passengers, because it just makes the situation worse, and well, anything can happen after that. Well, this is it now, the last station. It's the end of the shift. This is where you really got to be particularly on the ball, because it's so easy to rush things. You know, you want to finish, you want to get home. This is where extra concentration comes into it. You've got red signals, end of the line, just take it easy, as if you're just starting the shift. That's it, end of the shift.
There's no formal booking off time, but if there has been an incident, you must report it to your DMT. course, most shifts run smoothly, but it's still good practice to let them know you're done for the day.
I've done a good professional job, and now I'm ready to go home to my family.